Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Sandra. Let's do the mid-year book freakout tag today. Tags are my favorites, and many of us are already familiar enough with the format of these videos that I'm not gonna waste any more time and let's just get to the question. So question number one, best book you've read so far in 2023. So I have two answers for that. My first answer to this question is the Mistborn trilogy. I finished it this year. I read book 2 and book 3 in 2023. Mistborn trilogy was so good. I really expected it to be mind-blowing. I expected to fall in love with the book, and I did. Sanderson has already become one of my most favorite fantasy authors, and I'm totally planning on continuing my journey throughout the Cosmere. I'm really excited for that. So my first answer, the best books I've read in 2023 are the Mistborn books, Era 1. But if I want to choose one book, because I already love this book so much, and it is in another genre, so technically, I convinced myself that I can choose two because one of them is fantasy, the other one is romance. Beach Read. I really love this book. I connected so much with the story. I connected so much with the characters. The situation January and Gus were involved in, I really related to that. I love this book. This book made me feel so much. I really like the way Emily Henry tackled the problems in this book. I really enjoyed the characters. I really enjoyed their communication. This was one of my best reads in 2023. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a solid 5 stars. Even though starting it, I wasn't sure it's gonna be a 5, but towards the end, I changed my review and I said this is a 5-star read for me. I really enjoyed this book so much. Question number 2 is the best sequel you've read in 2023. That's obvious. I mean, I already gave away the answer. The best one is, of course, The Veil of Ascension, book 2 in the Mistborn trilogy. That book, it took my breath away. I just couldn't, it didn't compare to anything else in the fantasy genre that I've been reading these last few years. Veil of Ascension was so good. It was everything I needed it to be. It was slow and I loved it. All the elements in The Veil of Ascension worked perfectly for me. I really love that book. I cannot wait to read other books written by Brandon Sanderson because I already love his style so much. I already love his characters. I already love their thought process that Sanderson kind of shows us. I really love that. Of course, there are problems. I get that. I know that. But everything is so perfect that I will gladly overlook those problems. It was perfect. And it also made me feel so much. You know, books that get me involved, you know, make me cry, make me laugh, make me shocked, stressed, overwhelmed. Those books, I usually end up really liking them because they have so much power. They're not just something I read for fun. They have an actual impact on my life, and I really love that. Veil of Ascension was one of those. So question number 3 is new release you haven't read yet. That's a tough one because there are a few that I actually plan on reading, but the book that I'm excited for, and I actually have a physical copy of it, is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've been meaning to read this book since it came out, but because I've read Beach Read this year, I wanted to put some space between Emily Henry's books. So I'll probably be reading this in July. I'm really excited for it. I love the cover. I have a few doubts about this book because it's second chance romance, and second chance romances are usually not my favorite trope, but I trust Emily Henry and this will hopefully be a favorite too. So in the fantasy genre, I wanted to give a try to The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. That book kind of caught my attention too. I wanted to read that one too. And there's another one, Encyclopedia of something. I don't remember the name, but I'm gonna search it up and put it on the screen. It's the Encyclopedia of Emily Wilde. And there are fairies in the title, I think. The Fairy Encyclopedia of Emily Wilde's. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies or something like that. The title has these words. I don't know the exact order of them, but it's something like that. I'll put it on the screen so you would know. So these 3 are the new releases that I'm most excited to read this year. I don't know when, but hopefully soon. So number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of 2023. I have 2. I'm not exactly anticipating them, but there are 2 books that are coming in the second half of the year that I know about and I'm excited to read them. So the first one is Bookshops and Bone Dust. I am currently very close to finishing the first book, Legends and Lattes, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's a very comfy, cozy fantasy book. I feel like I'm gonna end up liking it by the end of it. So I'll probably be reading that second one as soon as it gets released. I'm anticipating it, I guess. The second one is Iron Flames. I read the fourth wing this year, so when the second one comes out, I'm gonna be reading that one too. So these two, I suppose. Bookshops and Bone Dust and Iron Flames. Question number 5 is the biggest disappointment. This question really makes me sad. I had no idea that one day I will be calling this book a disappointment. I really had no idea. My answer is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is not a bad book. I even liked it, but the plot of the story was so intriguing to me. I was expecting to have so much fun with this book. It was a 5-star prediction for me, and I guess I really built my expectations of this too high, and I wanted it to be something it wasn't, so it was a bit of a disappointment. I still enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5, but because I wanted so much more out of this book. And yeah, I was disappointed this is not at least a 4-star. Many have put this book in their favorite books, but it just wasn't what I expected. That's why I was disappointed. Question number 6 is the biggest surprise. This one is a bit easier because I was very recently surprised by this book. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. You probably heard of it. It's been everywhere. This was a surprise because I really don't do well on hyped up books. I do enjoy being involved in the hype when it's alive. I like that. So whenever something like this comes out with a pretty cover like this, I usually pick it up. Not because I'm predicting to end up giving it 5-star, falling in love with it, because it usually doesn't happen for me like that. Hyped up books tend to disappoint me so much. They have disappointed me in the past. This surprised me. I had so much fun reading this book. I was like, maybe I give it a 3.5, maybe 4 stars. It does have its ups and downs, it does have its problems, but it also made me so happy. I don't know. Maybe it's the dragons that got me hooked on this book. It probably is. So for once, trusting the hype was not actually a mistake. I really enjoyed this one. A very recent surprise, but a good one. Question number 7 is the new favorite author. So I don't know if my answer is sufficient because these two authors that I'm going to tell you about, I've recently found them out. I only read one book by them, but based on that one book, I like to read more from these authors. The first one is Olivia Atwater. I read Half a Soul a while back. I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the writing style. I'm definitely gonna check out her other works because I really enjoyed her writing. I really enjoyed her book, so why not? The second one is in the romance genre. I read Get a Life Chloe Brown this month and I really loved it. So I'm gonna put Talia Hibbert's name here too because I will definitely read the rest of her books. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like her other works as well because it's romance. If I know I like one of the books, I probably enjoy the other ones too. So yeah, Olivia Atwater and Talia Hibbert. Number 8 is the newest fictional crush. So about this question, I don't really crush on the male characters. I don't do that. I usually ship the characters with, their partners in the book, in the story. I ship them, I fangirl over them, but I don't crush on them myself. But if I want to give you names, if I have to, I will. I really like Elias, the Lord Sorcia from Half a Soul. He was interesting, I liked him. I don't crush on him necessarily, but I enjoyed reading about him a lot. The second one was Redford, the male character in the Get a Life Chloe Brown. I really like that guy. He was not my type at all, but he was perfect. And the third one, because why not? I already read it, I already enjoyed it, so I'm gonna put his name here too. The one from here, Zayden Ryerson. He's good. He's not very different from, other male characters in these sort of stories, but Zayden was good. He was a supportive male character and I liked him. I enjoyed reading about him. I'm gonna put his name here. Question number 9 is the newest favorite character. Again, 2 answers for that. The first one is Tern from this book. If you read it, you know why. It's a dragon, actually. That's my favorite character from this book because this book was all about the dragons for me. I'm that kind of person. The second character that I just have to put here is Breeze from Mistborn. I love the man. I really do. From his first introduction in the Final Empire, I loved Breeze. I rooted for him. I wanted to have more of his character. I wanted to have more of his dialogues or monologues, whatever. I also liked the way he sounded in the audiobook, and everything about Breeze was my favorite. I really like that guy. So he has to be here. If I want to pick one in the Mistborn trilogy beside Wynn, it has to be Breeze. Of course, I like Wynn too, but Breeze, So number 10 is the book that made you cry. I cry a lot. I don't know. I wasn't like this before. Beach Read made me cry. It shouldn't have, but it did. I did cry a bit in Fourth Wing. But if we're talking about, painful crying and sobbing, even if it was for a short time, I'm gonna say The Hero of Ages made me cry. I was feeling too many emotions when Mistborn was, getting wrapped up. I was so invested in the story that it really hurt, and it has stayed with me, that pain, that crying. It's still here, whereas in other books, if I cried, I don't remember the exact feeling I got from that book. But with The Hero of Ages, I really still feel the pain. I think about it at night. So yeah, I'm gonna say The Hero of Ages made me cry. Not very much, but I felt it too much. Number 11 is the book that made you happy. This one's also easy. I'm reading Legends on Lattes. That's making me happy. I really like that one. I read Half a Soul. Also made me so happy. Surprisingly happy. I really love that book. And of course, I already told about this. Fourth Wing, Dragons Make Me Happy. Question number 12 is the most beautiful book you bought this year. I bought this very recently and I really wanted to get it in English because there's a translated version, and I wanted to get the English version because it looks so pretty. I really love thick books. There's just something about them. I really love that there's so much to read in the big books. And I always love the design on the cover. Dragons, of course. So this is one of the most beautiful books I bought very recently, and I love it, but I'm very scared to read it. The last question, what books do you really need to read by the end of this year? This one's a hard question because there are a lot of books I really want to read by the end of the year. But to give you examples, I really want to read Happy Place very soon. The next one I really want to read by the end of the year is The Priory of the Orange Tree, because I want to read the second book and have an opinion by the end of the year, but they're very intimidating, both of them. There are more. I also want to read Ninth House before the year ends because I also want to read Hellbent. Very intimidated by it because some people told me they didn't enjoy this book at all, and I'm scared. I really want to like it because I love Leigh Bardugo. I love her writing styles. I understand this is different from her other books that I've read, but I really want to end up loving this book, so please don't disappoint me. I have another one, If We Were Villains. I don't know if I will read this, but I'm very intrigued. If I do finish it, it would be really cool because this is also one that I've been expecting too much from. I really want to get to this. So that was all the questions in this tag. I'm not overall freaking out. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying my time. Everything's good. Hopefully the next 6 months in 2023 would be brighter and happier for everyone around the world. Tell me in the comment what was the best book you've read so far in 2023. I'm curious to know your answers. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I certainly did. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.